Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner have officially called it quits after 4 years of marriage. The former couple, who are parents to 2 daughters, have already begun airing out their dirty laundry in the press. And so far, despite some news reports, their split has been anything but amicable. Let's get into it. In August 2023, rumors were swirling about the status of Joe and Sophie's marriage. Joe had been spotted without his wedding ring on several occasions, and fans reported that the singer appeared often sad while performing a series of concerts during the Jonas Brothers' most recent tour. A few weeks later, a friend of Sophie posted a black and white photo of her to social media where she was clearly not wearing her wedding ring on her left hand. Needless to say, it was heavily speculated that Joe and Sophie's split was imminent. But without any further evidence to back this theory, fans were left wondering the truth until either Joe or Sophie confirmed or denied the rumors. By early September, it seemed clear that Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner were heading for a divorce. The 34-year-old singer was pictured without his wedding band on several more occasions, as he reportedly met with 2 high-power LA divorce attorneys. According to reports, Joe was preparing to file for divorce from Sophie, as they had been having, quote, serious problems for at least 6 months. Soon enough, a string of reports emerged that made Joe out to be a good dad who cares for his 2 children even while he's on the road touring, while Sophie was suggested to be an absent mother and valued partying more than spending time with her family. Reports suggested that Joe had been primarily handling parenting duties for their 3-year-old and 1-year-old girls. Various media outlets claimed that Joe has been caring for his daughters pretty much all of the time over the past 3 months, while Sophie has been off in the UK for work. Some found it ironic that so many leaks about the former couple have found their way to the press, as Joe and Sophie have both been notoriously private about their relationship, so private, in fact, that the name of their youngest daughter has yet to be revealed publicly. Surprisingly, several articles also appeared in the press that painted Sophie as a party animal. These reports directly conflicted with Sophie's own self-assessment, previously referring to herself as a homebody who enjoyed being locked down with her husband and children during quarantine. According to one report, Sophie Turner had partied all night in the UK without a care in the world, right before her divorce from Joe was made public. A bar manager at Drop Shot Bar in Digbeth, Birmingham, spoke to the media to claim that the actress was at his establishment for a wrap party to mark the end of filming for her upcoming television series. The bar manager, named Hertzon Stevenson, was eager to reveal that around 70 members of the show's production team had enjoyed a night out at the bar, and Sophie was seen, quote, knocking back drinks. He's quoted saying she was great company and a really good laugh. I couldn't believe how happy and relaxed she was. You would never have thought that she was going through a divorce. We spent a lot of time chatting and drinking because we had a lot in common, he added. The bar manager seemed happy to dish the details of his brush with fame to the press, saying, she never once spoke about her husband or kids and never mentioned anything about getting divorced. So when the news came out a few days later, I was very shocked, but it also made sense because it was obvious when I was with Sophie that she wanted to return to her days of partying. I sensed that she was missing those times. The narrative continued that Joe and Sophie's union was in jeopardy due to their vastly different set of priorities. One source told the press they have very different lifestyles. The insider also alleged that many of Joe and Sophie's disagreements stemmed from the idea that Joe apparently preferred to stay home while Sophie liked to party, but some fans think it's the other way around, believing Joe to be the party animal. As reports against Sophie kept piling on, Joe was doing his best to look like the more sensible, stable parent. Like clockwork, paparazzi photos were published of Joe enjoying a casual afternoon out in LA with his 2 young daughters and their nanny. Some can't shake the feeling that these photos were staged at just the right time to position Joe as a great father, while simultaneously making Sophie look like she only cares about herself and partying. Fans were quick with a rebuttal to the apparent smear campaign against the actress. They took to social media to post a video of Sophie talking to late-night talk show host Conan O'Brien while the world was locked down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the clip, Sophie tells Conan that her husband is a social butterfly and is hard to lock down, so she has enjoyed every minute of being home together. The next attempt to slander Sophie came from TMZ, reporting that Joe allegedly caught his now estranged wife doing or saying something inappropriate on their Ring security camera. No further details have come out about that claim, but TMZ reported that the purported security footage was the final straw for Joe, and he filed divorce paperwork soon after. A separate report emerged from one of Sophie's so-called friends, who insisted the Game of Thrones starlet felt trapped in her marriage. Sophie, who is 7 years younger than Joe, got married when she was only 23 years old, and the source claimed that she regretted not living out her 20s in a more carefree way. Many fans believe that the smear campaign towards Sophie was all orchestrated at the hands of Joe or his team as a way to gain favor while preparing for a contentious divorce and custody battle. As a famed singer, songwriter, and actor, Joe Jonas has legions of fans across the globe. But even that wasn't enough to spare him from scrutiny after so many stories came out attacking Sophie's reputation. One person on X, formerly known as Twitter, said Joe Jonas' PR team is working overtime to paint Sophie Turner bad. Another user chimed in saying, "First they said she was a party animal. When that didn't work, they're changing their lies." She went on to say, quote, "He's disgusting. It's so clear that he's leaking these terrible stories. So cruel and pointless." With so many people convinced that Joe Jonas is the source behind all of these negative stories about Sophie simultaneously being leaked, an army of fans have rallied in support of the Game of Thrones actress. Someone on X wrote, "In this house we will always support the Queen in the North over some random Jonas brother," while another person adding that Sophie's silence will serve her well in the long run, saying, "She is being so smart by not saying a word." On September 5th, 2003, all of the speculation about Joe and Sophie's marriage was finally confirmed to be true. Joe Jonas officially filed for divorce from Sophie Turner in Florida. In the divorce documents, Joe cited that the marriage was, quote, "irretrievably broken." Joe's lawyers requested shared custody of the children, saying, "It is in the best interests of the minor children that the parties have shared parental responsibility." Joe's legal team further added that the singer respectfully requests that he and Sophie establish a parenting plan and a time-sharing schedule for their daughters. The documents also make it clear that Joe and Sophie's kids, listed as Willa and DJ, have been primarily living in Miami and other locations throughout the United States, likely referring to the notion that they have been traveling with Joe on the road as he's on tour. The following day, Joe and Sophie released a joint statement commenting on their decision to divorce. The statement said, "After 4 years of wonderful marriage, we have mutually decided to amicably end our marriage. There are many speculative narratives as to why, but truly this is a united decision, and we sincerely hope that everyone can respect our wishes for privacy for us and our children." A source told Page Six that Joe desperately tried to salvage his relationship with Sophie before calling it quits. According to The Insider, divorce was a last resort for Joe. He never wanted to break up his family, but he had to take what he felt was the best course of action for his girls. The source elaborated even further, saying, "An unhappy home isn't a home, and the truth is that he and Sophie were going through it this year. There's a lot of noise out there, but it wasn't a straw that broke the camel's back situation like it's being reported." Joe Jonas seemingly addressed all of the media buzz about his split while performing a sold-out show at Dodger Stadium in LA alongside his brothers. "It's been a tough week," he told the crowd, going on to say, "I just want to say if you don't hear it from these lips, don't believe it." Following Joe's remarks, he and his brothers sang a song called Hesitate that was reportedly written by Joe for his former wife. Fans reported that Joe had gotten emotional while performing the song. A source said Joe hasn't let many people know their issues went further than that and that they had been struggling in their marriage for longer than they let on. When it comes to dividing assets, Joe and Sophie are both multimillionaires who own multiple properties. Fortunately, the former couple signed prenuptial agreements before tying the knot, making the process of dividing property a whole lot easier. While Sophie's net worth is estimated to be around $12 million, Joe's net worth is said to be around $50 million, making him the bigger breadwinner in the relationship. The pair recently sold their Miami mansion for $15 million, so that's one less asset they will have to divvy up during the divorce proceedings. Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner always seemed like one of those perfect celebrity couples that gave everyone hope that true love exists. But looking back on the timeline of their romance, there were a few noticeable red flags right from the start. Joe and Sophie first began talking in 2016 after Joe had slid into her DMs. At the time, Joe was 26 and she was 19. Of course, while Sophie was of legal consenting age. Many have since described their age gap as creepy, considering she was still a teenager at the time. Their romance was confirmed at the start of 2017 when Sophie shared a picture of Joe to social media, but they both kept silent about their private life for the most part. By October 2017, Joe and Sophie announced that they were engaged. Sophie even appeared in a Jonas Brothers music video in the following months alongside Kevin's wife, Danielle Jonas, and Nick's wife, Priyanka Chopra. On May 1st of 2019, Joe and Sophie impulsively tied the knot in a surprise $600 wedding ceremony in Las Vegas. In July, Joe and Sophie exchanged vows in a more formal ceremony in the south of France. An insider said, Joe and Sophie both teared up while reading their vows. Everyone stood and cheered, and they had huge smiles as they left as a couple. It was an emotional ceremony. In July 2020, the couple welcomed their first child, a daughter named Willa. Sophie kept a low profile throughout her pregnancy and didn't even show any photos of herself pregnant until a year after giving birth. By May 2022, Sophie confirmed she's pregnant with her second child. Things seemed to get dicey right around then. Sophie gave birth to her second child on July 14th of 2022. There have been reports suggesting that she had struggled after giving birth, citing postpartum depression as a possible reason for her troubles. During an interview with Elle, Sophie revealed that she was desperate to return to her native country, while Joe had refused to relocate to England. Sophie said, "I miss England so much. I'm slowly dragging my husband back." She added that being closer to home was imperative for her mental health, saying, "I really love living in America, but for my mental health, I have to be around my friends and my family. And also for my daughter, I would love her to get the education and school life that I was so lucky to have." She noted that Joe wasn't keen on the idea of moving to a different country, saying, "England would ideally be the final destination, but Joe might take a bit of convincing." Joe and Sophie were last pictured together publicly in April of 2023. A few months later, Joe was seen without his wedding ring, and Sophie was noticeably absent from Joe's 34th birthday celebration in April, adding further fuel to the fire that something was wrong in the relationship. By September, Joe had filed for divorce from Sophie. So far, everything we know is just speculation, and the news is bringing more questions than answers. Do you think Joe is manipulating the media to make himself look better? What do you guys think about the rumors of Sophie and Joe partying? If you guys enjoyed our video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.